Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about when do you throw chrome types of crankbaits versus throwing a plainer white crankbait. There are specific times that I look at throwing chrome, and quite honestly, those times are very specific to what's going on at the time. Otherwise, chrome is not a color that I throw very often. But I want you to stick around to the end of this video because in addition to talking about the differences between chrome and white, we're also going to talk about what the fish do to tell you whether or not you're on exactly the right color or whether you need to be making changes regardless of what color you're throwing. Doesn't matter whether it's chrome, white, chartreuse, red, whatever. So stick around to the end of this one because just recently this fact came to light for me, which really rung a bell of I gotta do things differently. Stick around, guys. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. We're talking about when do you throw chrome versus white crankbaits. I had a buddy who was on Lake Geneva just the other day, and he was throwing some chrome baits, and he was getting banged, but they weren't hooking up. And the thing about it was that because he was attracting so many fish and he was getting hit so much, he kept staying with the chrome baits. Talked a little bit more, and we got to, well, it was a pretty sunny day out. And the reality is that he was throwing those chrome baits at exactly the time that I wouldn't be throwing chrome baits for a lake like Lake Geneva. So let's talk about that. On a very, very sunny day, I would be throwing a white bait if, again, I'm looking to imitate shad and things like that, minnows. If I'm looking to imitate that kind of bait fish on a lake like Lake Geneva that's very clear and it was a sunny day, I'd be using a flatter kind of a color like white, okay? If I was on a lake that had a little bit of color to it, the water was stained and it was sunny, now I would be throwing that chrome type of a crankbait. If it's stained and you've got sun, that chrome is going to catch a little bit of that sun and give you that flash, and that's actually going to bring the fish to that bait better, and they're going to hit that bait with more aggression and more solidarity. They're going to actually eat that bait. When you've got a clear water lake like Lake Geneva and you've got that chrome, you're definitely calling fish to it. It's like a siren. It's like the ambulance going down the street. You're gonna know it's coming. But when you get up to it, it's too flashy, it's too much, and they turn from it, they don't hit it. Well, they may hit it, but they aren't gonna eat it, and it repels them. So let's go over this again just to be clear. Chrome crankbaits on a sunny day, used for stained water. On a cloudy day or early in the day or late in the day, dusk or dawn, where the sun's not up yet, clear water, go with a chrome. But otherwise, if it's a sunny day on a clear water lake, I'm going to go more with a white. Now, obviously, in stained water, if it's a sunny day, I can go with chrome. If it's not, then I'm going to go more with darker colors to give that silhouette and have the fish be able to hone in on it without repelling them away from that. Now let's get into one other thing that I like I said earlier, I want to really talk about. And that is, just like my buddy, when he was getting bit but not hooked up, he was getting a lot of fish to strike at his lure. He stuck with it in much the same way that I have in the past, where I had a color on and I thought, oh, I'm getting I'm getting a lot of attention from the fish on this color. I'm going to keep throwing it. That's exactly the opposite thing to do. What you want to do at that point is you want to keep the same bait. This happened to me on the James River. I was throwing a chatterbait, and I was throwing a bluegill colored chatterbait. And I was getting a lot of fish to bang into it, and I kept throwing that bluegill color because it was attracting a lot, but they weren't eating it. The minute I changed colors to white, every fish was eating that bait. Every fish was eating it. I didn't get any more fish where they were just banging into it. I was hooking up every time. When the fish are banging into your bait but not getting hooked up, that is not the time to stay with that color. It's the time to stay with the bait. You're throwing the right bait, but at this point you want to change colors. Change to a different color based on that situation and see if you don't get hooked up much more frequently at that point. That's the big tip out of this. Yes, chrome has its places, and chrome will work better than other colors. But more importantly, be aware of the fact that when you're getting those hits, but you're not getting hooked up, that's not the time to stay with that color. That's the time to stay with that bait, but switch colors. And so many of us get fooled by what the fish are telling us. We don't translate the fish's language accurately. We think, oh, they like this color. Well, they don't like it enough to eat it. They like it enough to bang into it or to swipe at it, but they're actually turning away instead of eating it. And that's the time that we need to change colors. Guys, I hope this information is helpful. I appreciate you tuning in every day. If you would, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We'd love for you to be part of the Mark Fisher Outdoors community. We put out the content Monday through Friday, and tomorrow we've got a special episode coming up for you, an On the Water Wednesday episode that you won't want to miss. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care, everybody.